Welcome back to the Forensics Detailing channel. Silica primer polishes in action. Just would have thought worth shooting a video on this stuff, guys. So I'm using this silica primer polish pretty much in the same way that you'd use super resin polish by Autoglim or a glaze or a filler. So I have polished all the car back, and now I'm just going round. I'm doing the last sort of thing where I'm applying this. So what I'm going to do is I'll apply some, and it's just, you would apply it a bit like you would a hand polish, or you could apply it by machine. It's quite a thin product. I know I'm a little bit out of focus. I'll just come back a little bit here. It's quite a thin product. It looks on the surface of it like a polish, like an abrasive, because it's white and it's sort of the same consistency, but it is not really an abrasive polish. So what I'm just doing, I've put way too much on here, just use tiny amounts, and I'm just working the resin in a bit like you would a glaze, in small circles, and a hand polish, even though, like I said, this isn't, strictly speaking, an abrasive like as we know. It's like gym, but not as we know it. And what this is going to do, you just give that resin about 3 minutes, and I'll put a little bit more here as well, guys. Actually, I've done this bit. I'll do it again. I'll do it again. I'll just wipe a little bit of the resin over here. And if this paintwork was full of kind of micro swells, you know, scratches and stuff like that, and you're trying to improve, take out some of that hazing from those swells, just working this a little bit in these small circles will help kind of cram it into all of those swells and scratches. So, you know, I could apply this over a bigger section. I've already applied it. Very easy to apply. I'll just bring the camera in just to show you what it kind of looks like. So you can see like the footprint of it there, guys. And you just leave it, okay? So it hasn't quite been 3 minutes. What I'm going to do is just turn the camera off and come back. I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to wait. You know, it's not like one of those market salesmen where you suddenly start buffing on it and stuff like that. Just going to turn the camera off. I'll come back in a second. What you'll see with this product is it doesn't dry. It thickens up a bit, but you don't get some like massive cure where you've got like a powder on top, like super resin polish. So it's a little bit stiffer to buff off than a normal glaze, or most normal glazes. So it feels a bit kind of thicker when I'm going over it with the microfiber. So I just take my time. I'm not doing extreme pressure, but I'm just collecting the product up. Please don't say about buffing in straight lines and stuff like that, because that is ludicrous. So I'm using a very clean cloth here, well, brand new cloth virtually, and I'm just buffing gently in circles because that will collect the product up properly. You can do little side to side swipes if you want, guys. And there we go. So what I've left on the panel, which we can't see, is some of this silica resin, which if they're already fine swirls, are going to fill those fine swirls and help to make the paint look better, which is exactly what a glaze does, isn't it? I'm just going to kind of show you the paint. Paintwork looks good because it's all been polished as well. Now you can use this in so many different ways. Rather than going around the whole car and doing paint correction and polishing it like this, look at the paint. This bit is lovely. I don't have any dots on this paint, and it's just awesome. Look at the quality of the paint when you don't have any factory defects, assuming they are factory defects. So I'm going to put the camera back up here. In fact, before I do, I'm just going to show you really nice and tight. Just get a fixed focus there, that'll do. I'm just going to show you buffing off this resin, so you can see it's relatively easy. So let me just buff over here. So it just needs a little, I'm not putting any pressure, that's the thing, especially on these soft components. Yeah, it needs a little bit more than I'm doing. Just get this into here. Probably left this for more than 3 minutes. Anyway, that's fine. I'm just buffing kind of relatively gently up and down here. And then what I'll do is when I've got 99% of it off, I'll flip over to another section of microfiber that doesn't have the product, just to gently collect anything that's left on there. And that, I haven't polished these, okay, because I just can't be bothered. just too extreme for me. Good luck to you if you want to polish them out. But literally, you're going to touch them and they're going to be swirly again. So what I would probably do with these is, rather than sitting there trying to immaculately polish them, let me just see if I can show you the condition of them. These have not been polished. I need light, don't I? So there's some light here, guys. You can see there. Who cares? Oh, who cares about the condition of these? Let me just show it to you if I can find some focus. Oh God, guys, I'm gonna be buggering around all day trying to get focus, on these. But they're in pretty decent nick. But if I got perfect focus and perfect light, there would be just some fine swirls. But this glaze does a great job. This silica glaze does a great job of just filling those in and making these look nice and tidy and jet black again. And that, I'm going to go back on. I'm going to go back onto the main camera. That is why something like Tack Systems Total 1 Essential is an important product for me, because it's a compatible primer with any SiO2 spray and any ceramic coating as well. So you can do this. I can just buff this down like this and buff it up and put a coating on top of it. It's a bit like using a wax and just getting a. She's like using a wax and a glaze as a combination. So you go around your paint, you buff it in, and then you put your wax on top, and that. But you're sort of supercharging it, aren't you? Because if you go and buff this in and it makes the surface look good, and you put a ceramic on top of it, that is going to kind of lock it in for a lot longer. But I'm not using it with a ceramic. I'm just going to use it with normal water-based SiO2 sprays, which is a little bit unusual, because this is also like a protectant. The resins which set and fill the swirls are like a protection product as well. So it's kind of a bit like a silica all-in-one. Very strange product, this. Truth is, guys, I don't know how good or how bad it is. And that's one of the reasons I'm using it. I can say it's not as easy to work with as like something like super resin polish, which is very light to buff. You know, it dries to a haze and you just scoop it up like a meringue. This has got quite a sort of, sticky is not the right word, but there's a bit of resistance. It's quite resinous. So I'm working in very small sections. I'm changing cloths quite frequently, and I'm just, you know, taking my time, and I'm making sure that I don't leave any bits on it that smear and stuff like that. But I'm telling you, the car is coming up so nice. It's going to look absolutely amazing when I take this car out. I'm really enjoying this last little step of the process, and I sort of forgot how nice it is to actually go in and sort of work a product into the paint. So that's it, guys. If you want to have a look at a silica primer polish, then this Tack System 1 Essential seems like a good product to me that you can use perhaps if you don't even have a machine polisher at home and you want to use some of the new SiO2 products. Go in with this by hand, work it in, obviously after you've washed and decontaminated, work it in or work it by machine, put it on thin, work in small sections, buff it off, fly around the car. Once you finish, apparently you don't have to do a water-based degrease, you know, like an IPA wipe down on it. You could just put your protection straight on top, I believe. So that's pretty cool. Thank you very much, guys. If you've used Tack Systems 1 Essential, let me know what you think about it. Bye for now.
Holding on to what I knew, but the moment's gone. Where was I when